Now, this is a word that pretty much, I would say, destroy everything in the Western world, and even, like I say, even your life. The word is safety. I don't know if you noticed, but in the recent years, especially, let's say from the 2000 upwards, the governments and pretty much everyone I know, they use this word safety to just pretty much justify anything that they want to do. So I think when I say safety, especially you can see right now, I think in England they have something recently when they forced Apple to just pretty much share the data of the users, which in concern of the safety. So even the government, like I say, they like to use this word safety to just pretty much control as much as they can from the population and every move, everything that they do. If you even if you have a debate in politics and you say, throw there in the discussion the word safety, it's just pretty much everyone is just gonna change, or let's say they're gonna trade their freedom for that word in an instant phase. There's no it's very hard to argue it, especially in politics. So another example would be like how they can take away from your freedom for this word safety. Let's take car seat belts. Well, I'm okay with them putting in a car. You have to have that security, but when the government use the police to just pretty much fine you and give you a ticket because you don't wear the seatbelt, I think that's pretty much an abuse of power. Because I'm okay with the manufacturer just put the seatbelts there, but forcing you to put them, and they're using the word safety against you in this case, because nobody says you should forbid the seatbelts to put in a car, but the fact that just they enforce that to just obligate you to put the seatbelt, to wear the seatbelt, and if you don't oblige, they don't comply with the directive, it's just pretty much is gonna fine you and gonna take the money, take the work from you that you put in at your job, and just pretty much take your money. And this is a way I think that they try to use, again, one of those examples, use this word safety to manipulate you in a way that they wanted to do things. So I think this is such an example. Not, let's say, the regulation. If you want to build a house, whatever you want to do, even if you have to work in your own yard, you have the bureaucracy that's gonna tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. And it just it seems like I say, especially in the few years, they just get more and more bureaucracy, and they try to control you. And especially they're using this fine, let's say, tool, just gonna fine you with some, I don't know, $50, $100, €100, whatever, for pretty much anything they can think about, just to take a bit from the money, to just make you more obedient. And I don't know why, but this scale is just to pretty much go up and up with every single year. It feels like, especially like I say, in the Western world, even if property, in your yard, you cannot do pretty much anything that you want. And I'm not going for those insane things that should build a 10-story house or stuff like that. Even like I say, I heard someone in especially United States that they leave their trash can outside for a day before or a day after the garbage truck came, and the city just pretty much fined them for that. So that shows how much freedom there actually exists in even in the US, which is the land of the free, as they call it. But especially in the Western world, it's pretty much they're trying to infiltrate in every aspect of your life. And that's a keynote, I would say, for the totalitarian states, especially, like I say, in this century, and also mainly in the Western world. And it feels like that, like I say, with cars. Now, I'm okay with, let's say, insure the car for whatever reason, but now you can see how those prices have skyrocketed, and in this process you're gonna make the social movement, mobility, much harder. And that's another huge problem that I think we have, and not that many people talk about it. But this word safety, as they use it, like I say, just stay back and let us do whatever you want, because we're doing in the name of the safety. even if you're in your own home and you have, let's say, some gas pipe in your home, they keep coming to your home, especially I think in Europe it's like every 2 years, just to check with I don't know, some device. They just stay like 10-15 seconds in your home, and they just fine you for that, let's say $50, 50 euros, just because they check the pipe, which pretty much they didn't do nothing, but they ask you a lot of money, and there's nothing you can do, because if you don't do it, you just pretty much you cut your gas supply. And it's one thing to say about safety, and especially like I say, just came here in an apartment, especially mine, with a meter, and it just ask you, I think, a lot of money for just 10 seconds that they spend in your apartment, just pretty much touching nothing. And again, this is how they do it here in the Western world. And just again, that's another example. I would say they're using this word safety to pretty much justify everything that they wanted. If they want to force you in doing stuff that you don't want it, like I said, they can enter your house pretty much easily. If they don't obey with that, like I said, in this case, they can pretty much cut your gas supply immediately. So you can see how far, especially in the Western world, they got. And in any other countries, like I say, they look at the Western system and they say how much money the West produce, and even those countries that not exactly in the West, they try to copy it, because again, there is pretty much free money and free control for them. You're just gonna use it as much as you can, and they upscaling pretty much with every 10 years. So if I would say that people in the past, yes, they were probably much poorer than we are at some extent, because in the recent years we see how everything got so expensive. But I believe, especially with the past, when there were less people, and like I said, when you have less people, you tend to don't have that many rules, that many bureaucracy. But I think the people in the past used to be much more free than we are today. And in the future, especially in our lifetime, in the next 25-50 years, I think it's going to get worse and worse with every decade, especially because every decade you kind of feel it, how hard the life becomes, especially like I say here in European Union. Every 4 years is going to seems like a new set of rules that just make you more powerless, and they try to make you more obedient, and it feels like they take a lot from your money, especially like I say in the socialist countries. You have the socialist system, they're just gonna ask for more. And I think I saw some data when they say the Western world, they pay taxes around 70% from what they from their income. I mean, in Europe you can have pretty much 50% just from the salary immediately. If you, let's say, if you work for 2,000 euros, 1,000 euros, it's from the start owned to the government immediately. You don't even see that money. And from the rest of the 1,000 that you get, you have to pay taxes for your properties. You have to pay taxes every time you buy something, and that could be up to 25% if you buy, let's say, $100 monitor. Let's say $25 gonna go to the government, so you're gonna get another 25% from that. So you can see how high those taxes actually get to the Western world. And also we're talking about in this channel about population and fertility rate, and a lot of people say, which I agree with them, with that it's so expensive to have a kid right now. But I will add even more than that. I would say again, the rules and bureaucracy hit again, especially in the fertility rate, because now you have to there is mandatory. You have to go go to the kid in a kindergarten school, which is, like I say, now the school start. I think the first class that we have was at 7 years old, something like that. Now they start with a class called zero class, which is start at 6. So 1 year before that, they try to take them to put them in the system as young as possible. And if you don't do that, the government is gonna come in your house and take your kids. So that's another thing to think about it. So that's another reason I think a lot of people are gonna say no to having kids, because they pretty much, it feels like even there is your kids, they're pretty much the government kids if you don't obey with the rules. So money, it's one. On the other hand, another hand, I get it, the freedom, and also some people pretty much don't want to be parents, But I think this bureaucracy play a major role, especially in the future with all this instability that we have. Not mentioning say, wars that is going to come and stuff like that, but those new rules, I would say that they just get more and more with every 5 years. Is going to play a huge role. And again, they're going to use the word safety to that. They're going to throw the word there, right there, safety, like they do in pandemic. You remember the pandemic when they say everything they do is because of the safety, and they try to, even the press, when they get interviews, they try to say to the television, they say that the government should do more than that, should do have more lockdowns with pretty much every month they should um, extend the lockdowns much more. So, and after the pandemic stopped, the press trying to go on the other side and say the press never said never wanted to have the lockdowns, but we was too late for that. And you can see it. I think the pandemic was a good exercise for them, especially from the Western world, when they show how exactly the freedoms plays in those Western countries when they throw away the word safety out there, and under that word they can pretty much do anything they wanted. So they do that. They get away with that, I guess. And nobody talks about pandemics anymore. It's like never happened, and it just was like how much 5 years ago. And sometimes it feels like it was like 10-15 years ago, but it looks like everybody just forget about them, and they're just willing to not let's say go forward with what's happened then, and probably the situation is going to repeat themselves again and again, because if they can get away with that, they're going to repeat them as much as they can. So yeah, I think that was the video. This is especially more for the Western countries, how much they use this word safety to just pretty much limit your freedom and take your money as much as they can. And from the rest of the countries that are not part of the West, I think those rules coming to you either, because those governments look at the West and see how much powerful the government just became year after year, and they want them too for them, especially if you have the money and control. Who doesn't want that? So yeah, that was the video. If you live in a Western country, tell me how you think about this. And if you don't live in a Western country, do you see some changes, especially in the last few years, going to this safety, everything from safety and the limits of freedom, especially at the individual level. Even like I said, even if you want to build your own, let's say, garage or stuff like that, you're just gonna have to apply to 1,500 permits to the city and pay some taxes just because they can.